Hi there, I'm Gabriele, aka Pius/Chance, and this video is a tutorial on how to use my AnimationScript. But before going on, what is this AnimationScript? It's something you can add to your model, or part of it, to animate what you want through manually adding states in which the animation will pass. I know, it sounds really hard to do, but in reality it will be very easy once you grasp the concept of it. Point 1. Starting from the animation, you will have to prepare your prop to use the script. Firstly, divide the folder or group you want to animate into pieces. As a rule, you can have that every joint must be a different folder. Secondly, rename this folder you created, numerating them from 1 upward. But remember, the 0 won't be animated, so don't use it. Don't. Third point is to group all the pieces into a folder, named Animation. You can do this by selecting all the parts, then right-clicking them and selecting New folder containing this. Fourth and last point for the preparation is remembering to network animation. You can do this by right-clicking the folder and selecting Enable Networking. After these points, your scene should look something like the one I have on screen right now. It's also important to remember that not only all the parts of the folder will move, but also the folder itself will move, rotate and scale. After all the preparations, let's now see how to add the script and use it. Point 2. For starter, you can decide if you want to put your script inside or outside the main folder of your prop. There is no real difference, but for me at least, it's way better to have everything inside the folder, because it's way more tidy. Point 3. You will have then to select the script to click and drag the main folder onto the toAnim custom property of the script itself. Point 4. Now write the number of moving parts that are inside the animation folder into the state pieces property of the script. Point 5. In AnimTime, write how long it will take to the animation to pass from a state to the following one. I promise, I will tell more about this after, don't worry. It will be all clear. Point 6. Check is inside if the animation script is inside the folder you want to animate. Don't check it if it's outside. Check then is once if the animation you want have to be done only once, knowing that at the end it will stay on the last state excluding the animation folder. Lastly, check is random if you want to make the animation randomly moving between the states. I will say more about this property in a bit, don't worry. Finally, we can create the states of our animation. The states are how the animation will move in the time we gave it, and it's useful to remember that they will be in a loop. So, we can see each state as a step, and every step has to be essential to the animation, because you can use a ton of steps to make the animation smoother, but if there are many moving parts inside of them, it could be bad for the object count of your game. An easy and quick to make example could be that of a running movement that can be shaped something like this: a front state, an air state, and a back state. Another really important thing to remember is that only the animation folder has to be networked, so none of the others should be so. Or again, This will rapidly make the networked object count increase. Now, to address the point we said we had to discuss further. The AnimTime property we spoke of is nothing else than the time an animation is using to move from one state to the following one. You can only try and find the time that makes your animation believable. Instead, the isRandom property, it's not exactly random, and neither is a loop. It will just decide if the animation has to go up or down a state, or stay still for your animation time. Another property, which I've not yet mentioned, is the natural look. It's an option that makes your animation timings less perfectly equal by adding a small amount of time. It can just be a tiny but visible fraction of your animation time. It's really useful when you have a prop with many animated parts, which move almost simultaneously, as my spider do, and you want to add a more natural look, hence the name, to some of his animations. Now that we have seen this, we can go to the template custom properties of my AnimationScript, knowing that this block of properties is fully optional and have to be used only when you want to spawn something during the animation loop. Point 1. Add into the template property the FX you want to use. To do so, use your mouse and drag the template from the project content, then drop it into this property. Point 2. The template spawn property is where you're going to spawn this template, similar to the one we just talked about, but taking it from the hierarchy, drag and drop the object onto this property. To further adjust the spawning point, you can use the template spawn adjustment, which is a 3D vector of relative coordinates that will move with that amount in that direction the spawning point. Point 3. The template spawn state is when you are going to spawn the template. When the animation loop reaches the state which name you wrote, the template will be spawned into the game. You can then adjust it to spawn just before, if you check it, or just after the state, if you leave it unchecked, using the template spawn before _ after property. With this last point, we have then saw all the properties of my AnimationScript, so you now know every detail of it. You can now then animate what you want, whenever you want, and how you want it. And as an example, I can let you see something that is vastly used as a first exercise of animation during courses on this subject. A bouncing ball. It's relatively easy, because it's a single object with no joints, but it needs a lot of states to make the animation smooth, and in this case I can use a really high amount of them, because there is a single piece inside the folders. And furthermore, there is the deformation of the bounce to convey to the viewers. As you can see, this script can be used effectively even with a little time investment, as it made a pretty smooth bouncing ball in just about 10-15 minutes top. So I hope that with this video all of your problems will be answered, but if you had any more questions, just message me on Discord or reach the forum page of Core to see a write-up on how to use this script. Link will be in the description. I look forward then to see your creations, and good job everybody. See ya!